Part 1. The signal that should not exist. There was no storm, no collision alert, no distress flare, no visible damage. Only a signal that arrived exactly as designed, and far too late to save anyone. 3 dots, 3 dashes, 3 dots. Then silence. Then a voice that never existed, translated from rhythm into language, describing a disaster already complete. Every officer dead, crew unresponsive, medical help useless, final transmission incomplete. And then, nothing. No follow-up, no correction, no human sound behind the machine that sent it. Somewhere in one of the busiest shipping corridors on Earth, a vessel had become silent while still floating. And for several long minutes, no one knew whether they had just received a call for help or a message from something already beyond help. The ocean looked calm that day. The Strait of Malacca is not an empty place. It is a narrow maritime artery where global trade compresses into a moving corridor of steel hulls, engine vibration, and constant communication. Thousands of vessels pass through each year. Routes are calculated precisely. Positions are tracked. Radios remain active. Nothing simply disappears here. At least, that is what the system assumes. But systems depend on one fragile belief. If something fails, there will be time to respond. On that day, time had already run out before anyone realized failure had begun. Ships that intercepted the signal compared notes. Multiple receivers confirmed identical transmission patterns. The origin coordinates matched a single drifting vessel.
A steamship, motionless, alive enough to transmit, silent enough to be wrong. One nearby merchant vessel altered course. It was the closest responder, close enough that delay might still matter if anything living remained aboard. The journey toward the coordinates took hours. During those hours, the signal never repeated. No secondary distress message, no attempt at clarification, no sound of machinery failure, no human panic. Just absence broadcasting itself through radio silence. From a distance, the ship appeared intact. No listing angle, no fire, no visible structural damage, no smoke from its funnel. It floated exactly as a functioning vessel should, except for one detail that no experienced crew could ignore. Nothing moved. No deck activity, no maintenance crew, no watch rotation, no engine exhaust. A machine built for continuous operation had entered perfect stillness. Attempts to establish contact failed. Horn blasts echoed across the water. Loudspeaker calls carried across the gap. Signal lamps flashed repeated identification requests. No reply. Stillness has a texture when observed long enough. It becomes measurable, detectable, wrong. Eventually, a boarding team was dispatched. They expected injury, maybe mechanical failure, perhaps poisoning or illness. They did not expect what stillness had preserved. The first body they saw was not collapsed. It was frozen in reaction. Eyes open wide, mouth fixed mid-breath, arms extended forward as if resisting something that never touched the skin. No wounds, no struggle marks, only expression locked into the final instant of recognition. More bodies followed. Deck crew, bridge officers, engine personnel, even the ship's dog. Every figure fixed in the same unfinished moment. Tension without motion, fear without cause, death without visible mechanism. The ship had not been abandoned, it had been interrupted. Inside the radio room, they found the operator, his hand still positioned on the transmission key. The last signal had not been sent casually, it had been sent while dying or while watching others die first. And the final words transmitted, translated from coded rhythm, had not described an emergency, they described completion. I die. Then nothing more. At that point, the rescue team knew something critical. Whatever had happened here did not allow reaction time. There were no attempts at escape, no defensive injuries, no containment efforts. Death had spread faster than procedure. That is not how most maritime disasters unfold. Even catastrophic failures produce noise, movement, evidence of struggle against outcome. Here, outcome simply arrived and remained. The decision was made to tow the vessel for investigation, but as lines were secured and preparations began, something changed. Smoke emerged from below deck. Not heavy at first, not explosive, just a thin signal rising from inside the hull, from cargo storage areas that had shown no external damage. Within minutes, smoke became flame. Within moments more, flame became detonation. The abandoned vessel, intact, silent, preserved, erupted and vanished into the sea, taking every physical explanation with it. Evidence destroyed itself, and the ocean closed. But the signal remained, recorded, logged, verified. A perfectly transmitted report of death sent from a vessel that no longer existed, describing a sequence of failure no one could fully reconstruct. That signal is where this story truly begins. Because it was not only a distress call, it was documentation of a system collapsing faster than human response could function. And that raises a question far larger than one lost ship. What kind of failure leaves no time for survival behavior? We will return to that final transmission, but first we need to understand something more unsettling. The ocean did not kill that crew. Something inside the ship did. And whatever it was, it worked with terrifying efficiency. Part 2. When systems fail faster than humans can respond. On Earth, most environments allow correction. A wrong turn can be reversed. Equipment failure can be repaired. Exposure can be mitigated. Even dangerous places usually provide warning. But enclosed systems behave differently. Inside a sealed environment, a submarine, spacecraft, or cargo vessel, survival depends entirely on invisible stability. Air composition, pressure balance, temperature control, chemical containment. If one variable shifts rapidly enough, there is no escape path, only exposure. Cargo ships are not simply transportation platforms, they are moving chemical ecosystems. Materials interact, containers degrade, temperature fluctuations trigger reactions, saltwater intrusion accelerates instability. Under normal conditions, safeguards exist to prevent cascade failure, but safeguards assume detection time, and detection requires perception. What if the first detectable sign is already lethal? Many investigators have considered toxic gas release as the most plausible mechanism aboard the silent vessel. Certain industrial chemicals remain stable when isolated, but become deadly when exposed to moisture, heat, or pressure variation. Some produce gases that destroy lung tissue instantly, disrupt nerve signaling, paralyze respiratory function, induce intense neurological distress without external injury. Death can occur while muscles remain contracted, which would explain something critical observed on that deck. Everyone appeared frozen mid-reaction, not collapsed gradually, not weakened slowly, stopped. One candidate reaction involves compounds that release hydrogen cyanide when exposed to water contamination. Inhalation interferes with cellular respiration at the mitochondrial level. Oxygen may still be present in the blood, but cells cannot use it. The body suffocates internally. Consciousness can persist briefly, long enough to recognize danger, not long enough to respond effectively. That produces a specific pattern: sudden awareness, acute distress, rapid collapse. Minimal physical movement before loss of motor control, which aligns disturbingly well with the observed postures. Another possibility involves unstable explosive compounds. Nitroglycerin, for example, becomes increasingly sensitive when improperly stored. Temperature fluctuation or mechanical disturbance can trigger decomposition or detonation. Even without explosion, vaporized byproducts can be toxic. And if both toxic gas and explosive material were present, the timeline begins to make sense. Exposure, rapid death, delayed chemical instability, fire, final detonation. A sequence in which the environment continues reacting after the humans are already gone. But here is where the mystery deepens. If toxic gas filled the ship, why did no one attempt evacuation? Why no lifeboats deployed? Why no distress flare fired manually? Why only a single radio operator transmitting structured messages? That suggests something even chilling. Functional impairment began before situational awareness. In other words, the crew may not have understood what was happening until coordinated response was already impossible. Human perception is not immediate. The brain interprets signals through expectation. If symptoms resemble fatigue, dizziness, or mild discomfort, individuals often delay reaction. In a confined environment, that delay can be fatal. A toxic atmosphere does not announce itself clearly. It alters cognition first, judgment, coordination, reaction speed. By the time danger becomes obvious, escape may no longer be physically achievable. This introduces a concept that appears repeatedly in extreme environments: the illusion of normalcy during irreversible failure. Systems degrade quietly. Humans continue routine behavior. Correction windows close without awareness. By the time alarm becomes undeniable, capacity to act is already gone. Now return to the radio operator.
Mayday.
He transmitted structured
This is the
information
SS
in
Nightingale,
sequence:
requesting
crew
immediate
condition,
assistance.
medical status, request
Over.
for assistance, final personal statement. This implies he retained function longer than others. Why? Position inside the vessel may matter. Air circulation patterns vary by compartment. Some spaces accumulate toxic concentrations faster than others. He may have been in a region of delayed exposure. He may have watched others collapse, then realized too late that the same process was reaching him, which explains the progression of the messages: observation, recognition, isolation, personal termination. But this still does not resolve one disturbing detail. Why did every face show fear rather than confusion? Rapid chemical death often produces disorientation, yet witnesses described expressions of intense alarm. That suggests sensory awareness of something unmistakably wrong, something visible or physically felt: extreme cold localized to compartments, pressure irregularities, visible vapor accumulation, unusual odor, or perhaps simply watching others die without understanding why. Human beings are extremely sensitive to sudden group collapse. If multiple individuals fall within seconds, panic becomes immediate and absolute. Even without understanding cause, certainty of danger becomes total. And then there is the dog. Animals react faster than humans to airborne toxins. Heightened sensory detection can trigger defensive posture even before lethal concentration. Witnesses reported the animal frozen in aggressive tension, not relaxed, not collapsed, confronting something unseen. Which means the first response aboard the vessel may not have been confusion. It may have been recognition without comprehension. The ship itself became a sealed chamber of cascading failure. No external threat, no visible attacker, only internal chemistry converting breathable air into a lethal medium. The most dangerous environments are not always violent. Sometimes they are perfectly still, while everything necessary for life quietly disappears. We now return to the question introduced at the beginning. What kind of system fails so completely that survival behavior never fully activates? The answer is not limited to one ship. It applies anywhere humans depend on controlled environments: submarines, space stations, deep mining operations, future planetary habitats. Anywhere atmosphere is engineered rather than naturally sustained. Failure does not injure. Failure replaces existence itself. And that brings us to the final part of this story. Because the greatest mystery is not how the crew died, it is what their deaths reveal about human confidence in environments we believe we control.
Part 3. The cost of believing environments are stable. Human civilization depends on a quiet assumption. If a place allows survival today, it will allow survival tomorrow. Ships cross oceans daily. Aircraft traverse hostile skies. Industrial systems contain dangerous materials. We call this reliability. But reliability is statistical, not absolute. Given enough time, every controlled environment will experience conditions outside its design tolerance. And when tolerance is exceeded, correction is not guaranteed. The silent vessel represents more than an isolated maritime mystery. It demonstrates the narrow margin between controlled stability and irreversible failure. Inside that ship, everything required for life existed hours earlier.
air, structure, functioning machinery, human coordination. Then one variable changed, and the entire system transitioned from survivable to lethal without warning sufficient to prevent death. Early in this story, we encountered a signal transmitted from within collapse. That signal is our only surviving witness. No wreckage, no physical samples, no laboratory confirmation. Only a structured report from a dying operator documenting the moment when environment ceased to support life. That transmission is not merely evidence of tragedy, it is a record of transition from stability to non-survivability. Investigators may never determine the exact chemical involved. They may never prove which cargo compartment initiated reaction. They may never confirm whether smuggling, negligence, or simple material instability triggered the chain of events. But uncertainty about mechanism does not reduce certainty about outcome. A functioning environment became incompatible with human life in minutes. This pattern appears across many human endeavors. Space missions have lost crews to oxygen system failures. Submarines have been disabled by atmosphere contamination. Industrial facilities have released invisible gases capable of killing entire workforces. In each case, survival depended not on strength or intelligence, but on detection speed. When detection fails, humanity does not adapt quickly enough. Return again to that final radio message, "I die." Not "we are under attack," not "the ship is sinking," not "fire spreading," just an acknowledgement of inevitable termination. The message contains no strategy, no resistance, no expectation of rescue, only recognition that survival had already ended. That may be the most disturbing aspect of this entire event. The crew did not lose a battle, they lost an environment, and environments cannot be negotiated with. Human exploration increasingly depends on artificial habitats, sealed structures designed to maintain life where natural conditions cannot. Underwater colonies, orbital stations, future planetary settlements. Each will operate under the same principle as that lost vessel. Life exists only while environmental stability remains within narrow boundaries. Beyond those boundaries, survival is not difficult, it is impossible. We often imagine danger as something external: storms, predators, collisions, visible threats. But the most absolute dangers are internal system shifts that remove the conditions required for biology itself. No drama, no warning sirens, just silent transformation of breathable air into something else. The vanished ship leaves us with an unresolved question. If an environment can change faster than humans can perceive, what does safety actually mean? Is safety the absence of threat, or merely the delay before instability reaches lethal threshold? The ocean never revealed the final truth of that vessel. It erased physical evidence and preserved only implication. A system functioned until it didn't. People trusted their environment until trust no longer mattered. A message was sent, but too late to change anything. We began with a signal that should not exist, a structured description of death transmitted from a place that still appeared calm. That contradiction is the essence of the mystery. Surface stability, internal collapse, visibility without survivability. Human progress depends on expanding into places that do not naturally sustain us. Every expansion requires controlled environments. Every controlled environment carries the possibility of sudden failure. And every failure reminds us of something we prefer not to consider. Habitability is not permanent. It is temporary permission granted by fragile balance. The crew of that silent vessel did not know when balance ended. They only experienced the moment after. And their final transmission, brief, precise, irreversible, still echoes as a warning without conclusion. Not about one ship, but about every place we believe is safe, because nothing has gone wrong yet. We still cross the same waters. Systems are more advanced now, monitoring is more precise, safety protocols more sophisticated. But the fundamental condition has not changed. Survival continues only while the environment allows it. And environments do not promise anything. The ocean kept its answer. The signal remains. and the question is still open. How many places we call livable are only waiting for the moment they stop being so?